While I was at East Carolina, I did have the opportunity to get some experience by working in the outside world. I worked at a credit company, and I thought that's exciting because I want to do loans when I grow up. So I'm going to work for a loan company, and I'll have an opportunity to learn how to do all those things and have some experience when I put on my resume when I get out, start interviewing for the first real job. Well, I learned real quick that I was a file clerk and that I had an opportunity to call past due accounts. And everybody in this world isn't honest, and they're going to lie to me and tell me they're going to make a payment, and they didn't. And then I had an opportunity back then, which I'm sure they wouldn't send a 19-year-old female out now, but I had an opportunity to go pick up cars with the collector and repossess things and all that kind of stuff. So that was my first real job other than working with after-school age kids that I didn't like. I did have an opportunity after I graduated, interviewed like a lot of you are getting ready to do, and I got a management trainee position at a local bank. I didn't want to move away, so I was a little restricted when it came to, being able to accept positions. I wanted to live close. I wanted to stay in Eastern North Carolina. So I did get an opportunity to work at a local bank that was in Washington at the time. The home office was there. I was excited. This was going to be it. I was going to have my own office, and I was going to be up in the world. Well, I worked in the back room, and I had an opportunity to do a lot of filing, again, and an opportunity to learn a lot, though, from a lot of good people. Wasn't doing loans, wasn't sitting in that office I thought I was going to have the opportunity to do, but I did have an opportunity to learn a lot of things, and we'll share some of those basics with you in a little while. From there, I did get an opportunity as positions came open. I applied for a management position and did have an opportunity to do that for a while. I worked with that bank till '99, and then got a phone call on a real landline because we didn't have cell phones then. I had a pager. If they needed me and I was out of the office, they paged me kind of like a doctor. I thought I was real special at that point. But I got a phone call in my office, and they were looking for a manager at another bank in town. I said, I'm happy where I am. Why would I want to make a change? But I'll talk to you. You never let an opportunity go by without talking to somebody. You never know what it'll bring. It's okay to say no. You don't want to do what they're asking you to do, but an opportunity is a good thing. So with that being said, I interviewed with the headhunter, first of all, and then I interviewed with an area executive for Citizen, and they offered me a phenomenal role with what I wanted, an office with a window in the corner, and I was managing a branch in Washington, and I was going to be able to do loans and learn new things. I was excited. Took the role in '99 and started doing that. About 2 years later, after bringing that branch from that year, I went to work there in September of '99, and at our annual meeting, I got the Tidy Bowl Award. I'm not kidding, I promise. They actually gave me a plunger because our branch finished last in the region. Isn't that great? I'd been there for 3 months, and I got the opportunity to stand up and get the Tidy Bowl Award. That was not very motivating. Well, actually it was. Because the next year, I stood up at that same meeting, and we were number one in the area. Because we had a phenomenal team, and I had the opportunity to work with them, and we grew that branch. That is not a testament of me. I want y'all to hear that. That is a testament of our team, that we worked together and we built a phenomenal branch. Well, the next month, a couple months down the road, that same area exec that hired me came in my office and sat down and told me he had an opportunity for me. And those of you, which you don't know me, I am very conservative. I want the real thing. I want the sure thing. I'd be a phenomenal underwriter, but this is how it's going to be, and I'm very safe, very, very safe. Well, he wanted me to be a mortgage banker. They had an opening for a mortgage banker position. I was really good at loans. I understood how to do all that cash flow stuff and all that fund debt ratio stuff, and I love the math piece, remember? So he said, you'd be really good at mortgage lending. I said, you know what? I would love to do that because now all I have to do is loans. I don't have to do all these other stuff. I can just do loans, which is exciting. But guess what? That was a commission-based job. I was 30 years old. At that point in my personal life, because personal life, I'm going to be honest with you, is part of life, We can say that we're going to split it up and it's not going to affect, but it does. At that point in my life, my husband and I, who had been married for almost 10 years at that point, I got married my senior year of college, we separated. I had a 4-year-old child, and he wanted me to go commission. Oh, I couldn't do that. Scared to death, right? Well, he promised me, Tammy, you're going to be phenomenal. He believed in me. I want you to remember this. He believed in me. He told me I could do it, showed me what I had been successful with, and said, try it a year. If you don't like it, you can have your old job back. Okay, I knew enough about banking in the real world. You can't guarantee that. And I looked at him. I said, Chuck, no disrespect, how can you guarantee me that? He said, because I know you're going to be successful. I said, okay. So I prayed about it. I thought about it. I talked to my mom about it. And I said, okay, I'm going to take that big step, and I tried it. It's the best thing I ever did. You have to take a risk for reward. Think about that. It really was one of the best things I ever did. From monetarily, yes, I was paid commission, and you got paid for what you did. So I did make more money. It was very rewarding for me because I had an opportunity to help lots of people. First-time homeowners getting their first home, that is overly rewarding and exciting to me because I really enjoy helping people. And I also had an opportunity to help others, whether they were building a house or refinancing a house or buying a beach house and all those types of fun things. Lending is my favorite thing to do from a business perspective, so I had an opportunity to just concentrate on that. So I was happy. It was great. Life was good. Well, then a position came available for an area sales manager for the mortgage division. There again, he came to me and said, Tammy, you need to apply for this. I said, I don't know about all that. That's a big job. I like lending. And that's not a lending job, that's a managing job. And I don't know if I want to travel and do all those things. Well, long story short, that position was done out of Wilmington. He told me he would allow us to do it out of Greenville. So here I go again. I end up with the position. I have managed about 50 branches, 15 different loan officers from mortgage only, east of I-95, do a lot of traveling. Had reached really where I thought my career goal was. I was excited. Did that for 4 or 5 years and remarried, had a second child at 35, continued to travel. My husband told me raising a baby wasn't rocket science, Tammy, but I'll never forget the first time I left. I said I was, had to go on a business trip. I was gone a couple of nights. I said, you sure you got this? Sure. You got the bottles and this and that and all this other stuff. You sure you got it? His exact words were, this is not rocket science, we'll be fine. Okay, sounds good. So I left. He called me about 20 times in the motel that night. They did make it. Brentley did go to daycare the next day with his clothes on backwards. But that's okay. In the big scheme of things, that's no big deal. But long story short, I continued to do that for a couple of years while Brentley was small. It was tough on my family. It was tough on me. I felt torn between my family, the career I always wanted, and all those things that kind of go in between that. I had a very supportive husband, supportive family, but I'll be honest, guys, that's hard. Think about that. Well, then, guess what happened? The economy turned. And I work for a phenomenal company. I still work with First Citizens. But mortgage sales manager positions no longer existed. I was called in on a Friday morning with the big top boss from mortgage division came in from Hendersonville, North Carolina, actually. And he sat in front of me and he told me that my job was eliminated. And I thought my world had come to an end. Now, the bank did offer me a job. I was very fortunate. They offered me a job back to 3 or 4 steps backwards because that's all they had available. Or they offered me a package, take a compensation package, and walk. That was never going to happen to me. Couldn't happen to me. I felt crushed. I felt like I had failed. I really did. Life was scary. Well, I went home. I cried for a night. I talked to my family. I put on my big girl britches on Monday morning, went back to work, and decided I was going to do the best job I could do at the position that I was given. And I did. looking back at that now, that was one of the biggest blessings of my life. It gave me the opportunity to be able to be the mom that I felt torn, that I never would have given up on my own. It also has given me the opportunity to continue to lend, to do development with other associates. And I manage a branch here in Greenville today and love my job. Been back in the branch for 10 years now and really enjoy what I'm doing. Sometimes when life throws you lemons, they say make lemonade, y'all heard that. But you know what? I think there's a purpose for things in life when it's thrown at you. And so remember my story. Because one day that might happen to you. And it's okay to feel discouraged and be sad. But you got to get up, put your big girl britches back on, and go back with life. So that's all about me. That was a little longer than I expected to talk. But that's what I wanted to share with you. Now, success. Being a successful leader. What is success? And what do you think it is? Answer, please. Who was talking?
I said it depends.
It depends. Wonderful. Success for you, it may be different than you and different than me. But success is the accomplishment of a purpose, okay? Accomplishment of a goal. But success, what you deem as success, may change as you go through life. And it is different for everyone, and that's okay. Just because what the world tells you is success doesn't mean that's what's success to you. So think about that. I challenge you to align with the company that you go to work for, that's values and morals and ethics are the same as yours. It would be hard to live life feeling torn morally between what a company asks you to do and what you know is right. For Citizens' goals are better banking so people can live better lives. And I love that. And because I believe in that. First Citizens Bank is a phenomenal bank to work for, as is BB&T and others, and there's some wonderful companies out there. But what I want to share with you is make sure that the company that you work for, or the company that maybe you build yourself, aligns with your personal values, your personal ethics, your personal definition of success. Because it's not all about money. Okay? One thing I want to share with you, and I'm going to go through top 10 things in just a minute, but always be honest. Never, never, never waver from that. You're going to make mistakes, we all are. Be honest about them. Stand up. Yes, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Yes, I threw that egg at your car. I hit it. I'm sorry. You don't say, I didn't do that. You did it. First of all, think about how that makes you feel. You feel guilty, do you? Don't you feel better? I have a 12-year-old now, too, the one I had at 35. Well, he did something wrong the other day, and he calls a white lie. He lied. But then he came back and told me, Mom, I really did play Fortnite the other night till 12, and you told me to get off at 11. I said, that's to eat you up all day long, hadn't it? And it had. That's a good thing, because it did eat him up. But he felt so much better after telling me that. Now, he still had the repercussions from it, but he felt so much better after telling me that. Just think about those things. Always be honest. You probably think I'm going to talk to you today about setting goals and what are goals, and you have life goals and personal goals and a short-term goal and a long-term goal and a step to this goal and all that stuff. I'm not. Okay? You will have plenty of time in the business world to set goals and to have those goals measured. But they are important, and I'm sure the others are going to talk to you about that. What I want to talk to you today is getting back to the basics. This is stuff your grandmama or your mom and dad have taught you. And I'm going to sound like an older woman up here telling you. But I have found, especially with my daughter that's the same age as you, that if Miss Tracy would come up and tell her the exact same thing that I tell her, she's going to take it from Miss Tracy. Probably a whole lot better she's going to take it from Mom. because Mom's not real smart at this point. I'm getting smarter. I'm smarter than I was at 16. I'm smarter than 18. But at 21, I'm still not quite there yet. I figure by 25, I might get smart again. That's what they tell me. But back to the basics. This is stuff you've already heard. But guys, I do a ton of interviewing, a ton of hiring for the bank, a ton of development of all age groups. And what I find, these are the things that aren't there anymore, or are lacking, or taken for granted. So basic life lessons. Ready? This is your top 10. This is your homework assignment. Just type it out real quick. First and foremost, and this is my biggest pet peeve, be on time. Let me ask you a question. Does being on time mean you have to be at work at 8:30, so you're running in the door at 8:30 to your job? Is that on time? It is not. Being on time is being there and ready to work, prepared with everything out when it's time to start. If church starts at 11 o'clock, you're not running in the back door at 11 o'clock, because then you got to walk in front of everybody who sees you walking late, right? Think about that. Be on time. Yeah, we're all going to be late sometimes. There was an accident this morning on the way in. We're all going to have times that we're going to be late. But don't be chronically late. Be on time. If you know it takes you 15 minutes to get from your apartment to school, leave 30 minutes ahead of time. Allow that you can't get the parking spot, but be on time. Work ethic. Always be honest. Do the right thing, even if it costs you a lot. Yes, sir.
There's always be honest. The third one and the second.
That's the second one. No. This is under work ethic. Be under work ethic. Be on time, work ethic number 2. I'll number them, that's part better. Be honest. Do the right thing, even if it costs you. I honestly believe, guys, that every good deed is answered. When you do the right thing, it comes back to you. Plus, you don't have that guilt, that feeling, that weight. Okay? We're all going to make mistakes. I'm going to make several today. Own up to them. Admit it. Say, I'm sorry. When you hurt your friends and family members, or you step on your dog's foot, I tell my dog, I'm sorry. You know, do that. Be that person. Number 3, effort. Everybody can do this, guys. There's always going to be somebody in this world that is smarter than you are. There's always going to be somebody that, if you're playing basketball, that's taller. There's always going to be somebody with more experience. There's always going to be somebody with more, whatever it is you're looking for. But you can always try harder. Think about a sports team. Who plays sports? Okay. If you didn't play sports, you probably watch sports. Think about a sports team. The athlete that had the most talent on the team and didn't put in the effort versus the athlete that put in the effort and maybe didn't have as much talent. Think about those people. You probably know those people right now. But you can always give that extra effort. You can always run that extra mile. You can always do that extra assignment. You can always do the extra assignment to the best of your ability, not just try to get it done so you can get it turned in. Trust me, that goes a long way. Number 4, your body language. Y'all probably have tons of classes on this already, right? I mean, by the time you get to where you are today, you have. That is so important. It is so important. Are you sitting up straight? Are you looking people in the eye? Do you have a firm handshake? I don't mean to push their hand, and I don't mean a little wimpy one, but do you have the nice, firm handshake? Do you stand there like this? Do you put your hands in your pockets? Or are you open? Think about that. Think about people that intrigue you, that you feel comfortable around. Because that's honestly what you want, is you want people to feel comfortable around you. You want to be remembered. Those first impressions are important, but I want to tell you, every impression is important. body language I think is very important. This goes with the body language thing, but listen. Really listen when you're talking to someone. Don't listen with the opportunity of what you're going to say back, because then you're not really listening to what they're saying. But listen to what they're saying. Genuinely care. Those things are important. Number 5 kind of goes with the effort thing, but it's energy. Have energy about what you're doing today. I'm going to give an example. I have a teller that has worked with me in the past. And she'd come in, and she'd sit on her stool. And she'd run a transaction. And she'd get it done, and she'd sit on her stool. And then I had associates that come in, and they sit down, of course, when they can. There's nothing wrong with that. But they jump up, and they help the client, and they have energy about them, and they're excited. And when they have to walk to the copier, one walks like this, and one walks with purpose, like this. Who do you think is a better example in that point? And we're all going to have a bad day. We're all going to feel bad. We're all not going to have energy every day, absolutely. But get up, eat your Wheaties, have some energy. We'll move with a purpose. Be excited that you have an opportunity to be where you are today. Even if it's not where you want to be, have an opportunity to be where you are today. And that gives you an opportunity to go where you want to be. So show that energy. Number 6. I could talk about this all day. I hope you are passionate about business, because you are in business school and you're a 4th year. But you need to have a passion. Number 6 is passion. Passion for what you do. Life is way too short to not. You work many hours a day. You need to enjoy what you're doing. You need to be passionate about that, and about some other outside curricular activities I'm going to talk about in just a few minutes too. I think it's important. But love what you do. We're not always going to love our job every day, but for the most part, you really do need to have a passion for what you're doing. Have a passion for helping people. So think about that. That's thought-provoking, because it's never too late to change. You may get out of here, and let's say you're an accounting major, and you pass your CPA exam, and you're excited, and you're working in the accounting firm, and you realize, oh, I don't like this. You can change. It's okay to do that. And your passion may change, too. What you enjoy doing at 25 and what you enjoy doing at 40 may be different. And that's okay, too. You can change. So always have a passion for what you're doing. If you don't, think about how to either regain that passion, or do you need to make a change? So I challenge you to do that. Number 7, be coachable. When you make a mistake, are you defensive? When someone tries to correct you or show you the right way, are you defensive and go, well, I did that because, that's what the book said. Well, obviously you probably didn't. That's why you did it wrong. But don't be defensive. Be coachable. People like to work with people that are coachable. Life, you're going to always be learning. There's always going to be someone coaching you in every stage. Have a willingness to learn. Don't ever lose that passion for learning. If nothing else, technology is going to change. Trust me. The way we do banking today and the way we did banking in 1992, that's a big deal. We didn't even have the internet all the time then. It's amazing. We're paperless. We scan in documents. That's amazing. But be coachable. Be positive. Number 8, do extra. If your assignment is to write a paper with 500 words, who counts the word 500 and then decides how to close? Be honest. Okay, thank you. You're honest. You're honest. You're honest. I did too. I did too. Who doesn't, right? My son does the same thing. I did too. Do extra. Go in early. Stay late. Help your partner beside you that's struggling. If you see that she's busy and she needs to make copies of this loan file and you finish for the day, let me make those copies for you. You don't have to do that. No, I don't. But let me help you. Teamwork. I know y'all have done a lot of classes on teamwork and had some team exercises as you've been going through your college career. That doesn't change. And there's always going to be that person on the team that doesn't do their part. And you know what? There's nothing you can do about what she's going to do today. The only thing you can do is what about what you're going to do. So you do the extra. You be the shining star. You be the example. Number 9, this goes right with it, attitude. All right, we could have got up today and go, oh, it's 27 degrees. I have to get dressed. I have to go to work. It's cold, and I don't want to do that. Or I can get up today and say, it is 27 degrees and the sun is shining. It's not raining anymore. I have an opportunity to speak to some fabulous people. I'm healthy. I can put my clothes on by myself today, and I can come out here and be positive. Be positive. You always have something to be positive about, even on your darkest day. Who do you want to be around? Half full or half empty? Think about it. Be half full. Number 10, be prepared. When you go for a job interview, research the company. Be prepared. Take your suit out the night before and iron it. And have everything put together so you're prepared. Make sure you have gas in your car before you come to work today so you don't have to stop. Make sure you have your assignments done before 11 o'clock tomorrow night. You're here preparing so you can do that. Y'all are doing these things now. Make sure you have questions prepared to ask. When you go for a job interview, prepare questions. Prepare pertinent questions. Have them written down. We can always prepare for the next day. Now, things will come up, but the better prepared we are, the better our day goes. So think about those things. That's my top 10 list. Any questions about that? How much time do we have? Y'all are a quiet group. We'll share a little more with you. Life is a lot like the game of Life in Monopoly. Who's played that? Everybody? You know, you kind of go around, you buy properties, or you go in this car and you have babies and get jobs and all that stuff. And you've been there, done that. But you know, life is a lot like that. You know, I don't think any of us will fail to plan. But we may, and we don't plan to fail. But when you roll the dice, it doesn't always land where you want it to land, right? You know, sometimes you land on one of those hotels and you have to pay a lot of money to you because you own Boardwalk with 2 motels on it, you know? That's not in our plan for today. But we have to prepare for that. Bless you. Society tells you, you go to high school, get your extracurricular activities in, apply for college, get in your college. Do good, try to graduate in 4 years if you can, get out of college, get a job, right? And then you're making money so you can live on your own, maybe buy a new car, maybe then you get married, and you buy a house, and you have babies, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's kind of what society tells us. What I'm going to challenge you to do is make that yours. Make that life what you want it to be. All those decisions along the way are like forks in the road. And it kind of depends on where you're going. A couple of tips. Never live beyond your means. Just because you make more money doesn't mean you need to go out and get more debt. Now, it will mean that your debt ratio is going to look better, so you're going to be eligible to probably get more debt. But always have that comfort zone. Live within your means. Have a rainy day fund. Plan for that. I'm sure y'all will go through a lot of financial counseling classes. Balance your checkbook, all those nice little tips. Save for the down payment. Save for the college education for your children. Plan for that. I challenge you when you get a raise, when you get out and you get your job. First of all, as soon as you're eligible to participate in your 401k, do so. Do as much as you can. Guys, because the time value of money is overly important. Y'all learned that in finance class. But make sure that you do that. Remember all those things you learned? Apply them. Don't be the doctor that doesn't take care of himself because he takes care of everybody else. Take care of yourself. Okay, apply those things. When you get a raise, put extra away. Don't spend everything you make. Okay? That'll help you with your whole life, the way you feel as well. Another tip I have is stay humble. Guys, y'all are going to go out and do great things. But always remember there's somebody coming up. There's somebody that helped you get where you are today. There may be a middle schooler or a high schooler or a younger brother and sister that's really looking up to you right now. Be a great example. Give back. Work with the Boys and Girls Club. Do those things. Stay humble. I think that's important. One thing that I find in my work that's been very helpful for me is networking. You've heard this, but that is so valuable. I'm involved in several networking groups now. I'm involved with the Chamber. I'm involved with a Women's Power networking group, a Business Networking East group, and I volunteer personal time with Dream Factory because I'm very passionate about that group. The reason I share those things with you is because you need networking group for work, okay? Something that's going to give back to you professionally. And then you need something that's can kind of do both. That you can have a passion for. It's good for you to be seen out there. It looks great on your resume. But also something that you can give back to the community. Kind of a feel-good thing. For me, that's Dream Factory. For you, it may be something else. It may be a museum of art. It may be Humane Society. I love that one too. But find something that you have a passion for with those networking activities. Don't just do what you think you're supposed to do. Okay? Think about those things. I do have some pamphlets here for young professionals. This, if you're staying in Greenville or wherever you go, I promise you there's a Chamber of Commerce. I don't work for the Chamber of Commerce, but I just want to share this with you. The Young Professionals Group is a great way to get plugged in with that. This is for ages 21 to 40 here in Greenville, depending on where you land. I don't know what age groups it'll be, but find something, especially professionally, that you can get involved in. And then I challenge you to find something personally to be involved in your community. Don't give that up. Have that purpose in life, okay? So I will challenge you to do that. A couple of things I've seen along the way, so this is kind of funny. I do a lot of interviewing. I think I've seen pretty much everything. Quick tips. Have a professional email address. Don't let it be Big Dog Dougie Fresh 69 at such and such. Think I'm making that up. No, couldn't make that up. Don't let that be your professional email address. If you want that to be your personal one, that's fine. A professional email address. Whatever you put on social media is out there. Recruiters are looking at it. You've heard this, right? Be smart. Be smart with what you put out there. You know, when I was in college, the worst thing we had was Polaroid cameras. Be careful. Be careful what you put out there. Be careful what you comment on. Be careful who you comment on. Sometimes saying nothing at all is the best thing to do. Just think about that. Recruiters are looking at that. Look at everything. They search everything. Had a nice young lady come in for a job interview. I'll never forget this one. She had on a beautiful red suit. Very professional, nice shoes, all that fun stuff. She had lime green fingernail polish. Don't go to interview with lime green fingernail polish. Of course, I'm sure you'd never go to lime green fingernail polish anyway, but, you know, think about that. You know, if you have on open-toed shoes, don't have on lime green toenail polish unless you have on a lime green suit. All those little things. Things I hadn't forgotten, but I didn't. What kind of stickers do you have on your laptop? What is that saying? Nothing wrong with that. When you go in the professional world, think about that. What kind of stickers do you have on your book bags? What stickers on your car when you park out in the parking lot for your job interview? Should it matter? Probably not. Does it matter? You want me to be honest? It does. It does. Think about those things. Think about all those little things that Grandma said. Don't take your stickers off your computer.
No.
I say that because
It's faded. But yeah.
I see nothing wrong with that. Go Michael Jordan. I like Carolina. I have two words that I live by. These are my words, not yours. Be disciplined. That goes right back to not living beyond your means and being conservative. And this one's hard, but be patient. We all want it right here, right now. I want supper right now. I don't want to cook it. You know, call, order dinner. When the internet gets slow, I'm not patient. But in life, we have to be patient. Because where we think we want to be, there's probably a lot of steps to get there. Be patient, work hard, do the right things. Stand firm in what you believe in. Don't waver, even if it costs you something. In the long run, you'll be grateful you did. You can be anything you want to be. We live in a phenomenal country. And you can. You can be anything at all you want to be. But I got news for you. If you work hard, you're disciplined, and you're patient, you can also be everything you want to be. You can have that balance. I'm going to leave you today with a little poem, and I didn't write it, but it's called The Dash by Linda Ellis. And I read this at my mother-in-law's funeral, actually, but I think it is so true. And I just want to share this with you because life is short. It seems like just yesterday I was sitting in a desk like you are. And it's been a long time. But it seems like a blink of an eye. And I know you've heard that, and I remember my Nana saying that, and I thought, that old woman doesn't know what she's talking about. But it does. Life goes by fast. So think about this. The Dash by Linda Ellis. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on her tombstone, from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came her date of birth and spoke of the following date with tears, but said what mattered most was the dash between those years. She spent the years that she spent alive on this earth, and now only those that loved her knew what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left or what you can rearrange. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real and always try to understand the way other people feel. Let's be less quick to anger and show appreciation more and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that the special dash might only last a while. So when your eulogy is being read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about the years between your dash? Any questions? That's it for me. I'll be glad to answer any questions you have. Yes, sir.
How long did you say you worked at First Citizen?
I have been there since '99, so this September will be 20 years. Yes, ma'am.
Do you feel like since your position got dissolve when you were working with mortgages and stuff? Have you been able to kind of climb back up the ladder and go further than you were before?
You know, it kind of depends on what I say what success is, what goes further. I'm a branch manager now. I do small business lending, business development, and retail lending. Love what I do. So I've really kind of almost gone full circle. However, I'm in a larger branch. There's different management positions, like there's an FSM, and we've got all these acronyms, but 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of thing. And I'm the highest I can be with one of those. So yes, I have grown, to answer your question. Some people may see that as a demotion. I'm not a regional sales manager anymore, that's true. But to me, it's success, because I'm happy where I am. It took me a long time to be able to say that. It took me a long time. Yes, ma'am.
Is your daughter following in your footsteps?
No, she is completely opposite of me. She's a biology pre-med major. She's applying to a grad med school program at this time. So she's at Campbell. Tried to get her to come to East Carolina. I even had her a phenomenal interview at Brody, tried to get her to come to med school here, but she's very happy at Campbell and is staying there. But yeah, I told her about 2 years ago, when she declared and got into her major, I said, you know, you're way up here now, just tell me what you need me to do to help you. So, no, she's way different than I am. It's kind of interesting. We look a lot alike, but very different. Any other questions? No? Well, guys, I just want to wish all of you just great success. I know you're excited, as you should be. Enjoy life. Have fun. Anybody want to say what they're doing next? Anybody have a job already? You do?
I have an internship, but it's paid.
That's a job.
Yeah.
That's great. Where are you going to be?
On employment at the paper mill.
Wonderful. Great. Anybody else want to share?
You're on the same boat.
What was that?
I said we all on the same boat.
Great. Okay. Anybody working now? Getting some experience? What are you doing now?
I work at the student centers, so I'm the building facilitator, and student manager over there.
Very good.
So that's it.
You know what? Everything you're doing right now, whether it be with your fraternity or sorority and you're holding an office, or you're volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club, or you're working at Domino's delivering pizza, or whatever. That's experience, guys. You're in school, you're here on time, you're working hard. That's great. Celebrate your successes. Network with people that can help you. Never be ashamed to ask for help. Never, ever. Anybody got any big spring break plans? Senior year, you're not going to get that again. You'll have to take time off from now on.
It says you were abroad in Australia.
Oh,
ACS.
that's phenomenal. That's great. Now that's an experience there. Are you going to get to see a kangaroo? I went to the zoo life and they had a little kangaroo and I thought that was the cutest little thing. So you'll get to see them like real life. Anybody have anything for me? Any questions, anything? Never stop learning, guys. The world, the world keeps changing and you have to keep growing with it. So thank you for your time. Thank you for having me. Y'all were very attentive.